What is meant by Gog and Magog? Genesis 10 says Noah had a grandson named Magog. Now this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Genesis 10. Magog, the grandson of Noah, settled in the far north of Israel towards Europe, and his descendants were described as skilled warriors. Magog was a real person who went on to create a lineage, a tribe, and a land. Gog, however, a descendant of Reuben, son of Jacob, Israel, was born approximately 11 generations after Magog, and bearing in mind that Japheth lived to be almost 600 years old, and Jacob lived to 147 years, this suggests there was at least 1,000 years between Gog and Magog. While Magog came from the land of Japheth, north of Israel, Gog came from the line of Shem, the Shemites, within the Holy Land. If we examine the names Gog and Magog closely, they may reveal an esoteric hidden meaning. Many words in biblical theology beginning with the letters M.A. could be perceived as having a spiritual connection to the Holy Spirit or divine consciousness. For example, Mary, mother of Jesus, also described as the mother of God. Mary Magdalene was a witness to the crucifixion and resurrection. She was also considered as a saint by many Christian denominations. Manna was miraculous food that sustained the Israelites during their wanderings in the wilderness. It is associated with divine nourishment. Matthew, one of the 4 apostles whose name means gift of God. Therefore, Magog, the name given to the individual, tribe, or nation, could represent a people who possessed the divine spark or connection to spiritual consciousness. Gog, on the other hand, could represent a lack of spirit. The big G could represent God, the G at the top of the zodiac alphabet, where the sun is brightest at the summer solstice. The sun is also an influence behind our soul consciousness, and when the soul appears on the horizon, most of us awaken from our slumber, where we reconnect from spiritual consciousness to soul awareness. We wake up, get out of bed, and stand on the earth with the soles of our feet. The small g in Gog could represent the soul of man created in the image of God. Only a small g could reflect this subordinate image. Therefore, the name Gog could represent various peoples from the land of Magog and descendants of Noah who lack a spiritual connection to divine consciousness. In some early Jewish literature, the term Gog, when relating to Magog, is either described as Gog of Magog or Gog from Magog, not the and Magog we see today. This makes sense because we have already established that Magog came first as the grandson of Noah 1,000 years before Gog. Gog from Magog could very well be people, groups, or nations who, although descendants of the spiritual offspring of Noah, have lost all spiritual connection to the Logos, rendering them spiritless and therefore satanic. By acting through the soul consciousness alone, these individuals are capable of the most inhumane and psychopathic acts of violence and genocide against all God's children and divine creation. Today, the Holy Land is controlled by moneyed interests, such as the Zionists, which could be viewed as Gog-like in nature. Furthermore, Zionism was an ideology controlled predominantly by varied moneyed interests originally outside the Holy Land to the north towards Europe. These Gog-like organizations have infiltrated the Holy Land while at the same time replacing most of the original peaceful inhabitants. Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Mashech and Tubal. Prophesy against him and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Gog. I will turn you around with hooks in your jaws and bring you out with your whole army. You will come from your place in the far north, you and many nations with you, all of them riding on horses, a great horde, a mighty army. You will advance against my people Israel like a cloud that covers the land. In days to come, Gog, I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me when I am proved holy through you before their eyes. When Gog attacks the land of Israel, my hot anger will be aroused. Declares the sovereign Lord, I will summon a sword against Gog on all my mountains. Every man's sword will be against his brother. I will execute judgment on him with plague and bloodshed. Revelation 20 describes the final scene of Satan's rebellion against God and his people. Now when the 1,000 years have expired, Satan will be released from his prison and will go out to deceive the nations, which are the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, whose number is as the sand of the sea. They went up on the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of the saints and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.